The weak react to what is in front of them. The powerful react to what is inevitable. You have been taught to respond. The world conditions you to wait until something happens, then decide how to handle it. It trains you to live in the present, as if the present is where power exists. It isn't. The present is a graveyard of decisions already made. By the time you see them, they are ghosts. You cannot change them. You can only choose how they bury you. True power does not live here. It lives in what is coming, in the shadows, between now and the inevitable. This video reveals the mental models that turn foresight into power, allowing you to see the invisible chains of cause and effect, while others just react. If you value operating unseen, stay until the end. Every principle you hear today will make you harder to predict, harder to control, and impossible to stop. Develop the cold lens of foresight. According to Machiavelli, the man who anticipates events commands them. The one who waits to see them is commanded by them. This is the lens you must learn to see through. A cold lens that refuses to be blinded by immediacy. The thesis is simple. The Machiavellian mind exists outside the moment. It detaches from the chaos of now, not because the now is irrelevant, but because it is already dead. You cannot win a game by reacting to the pieces already in motion. You must decide where they will move. Before the first hand touches the board, others rush to respond to the news, to the insult, to the opportunity. They drown in the quicksand of urgency. They confuse speed with strategy. And while they burn themselves in the heat of the present, you are elsewhere, in a silent, unlit room, building the next 10 moves in your head. Here is the dark truth. People are predictable, but only if you see them before they see themselves. Most live in cycles of impulse, the hunger for reward, the flinch from pain, the intoxication of emotional validation. Push them, and they will push back. Offer them something sweet, and they will reach for it. Provoke their pride, and they will expose their throat. But you are not here to be baited. You are not here to win this moment. You are here to set the trap that will not close for months. You must think as a chess player thinks when they stare not at the board, but through it. Every move is a signal, every reaction, a forecast. You do not simply note what someone will do. You ask why they will do it, what they believe it will gain them, and how you can make that belief their undoing. There are 3 tactics you will use to develop this foresight. Temporal detachment. Train yourself to mentally stand months, even years, ahead of now. When faced with a choice, ask, if I pull this thread, where will the fabric tear? Do not measure the value of an action by what it gives you immediately. Measure it by the chain of events it forces others to endure. Consequence mapping. Write down a single decision someone has made in your environment. Now, Project 3, likely outcomes. Then project what each outcome will cause in someone else. Follow that chain until it returns to you. This is how you begin to see the web that others pretend does not exist. Delay of engagement. Resist the impulse to act at the first opportunity. Instead, observe the unfolding. Watch who gets comfortable, who grows careless, who believes they have already won. That is when your move lands without resistance. The discipline here is brutal. You will want to strike in the moment. You will want to respond, to correct, to defend. But when you do, you step into the same trap as everyone else, the trap of short-sighted engagement. The Machiavellian knows that a war is not won in the battle you see. It is won in the 5 battles you prevent by positioning yourself beyond reach. And this mindset will feel alien at first. The world tells you that presence is power. That being in the moment is the highest virtue. It is not. Presence is useful for the prey that must react to survive. But for the predator, the moment is only a stepping stone to the inevitable. Machiavelli warned, "Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration." To think 10 steps ahead is to abandon appearances entirely, to stop living in what is visible and instead live in what is certain. When you master this, you will no longer chase the present. The present will chase you, and it will always arrive too late. Second, mastering the map of human weakness. You cannot see 10 steps ahead if you don't know what will trip them on step 2. Every person you meet is carrying an exposed nerve. Some keep it hidden under pride. Some parade it as if it makes them strong. It doesn't matter. It is still there. And if you see it before they do, you own them. According to Machiavelli, the architect of power is not the one who builds walls, but the one who knows exactly where they will crumble. This is why foresight is worthless without the anatomy of weakness. Here is the truth. The patterns are always there. The insecure will chase validation until it drains them. The arrogant will walk into the same ambush if it flatters their ego. The greedy will always choose the shortest route, even if it is a trap. These aren't accidents. They are reflexes. Reflexes cannot be hidden for long. Your task is not to confront them. It is to map them. When you know what will pull them off balance, you can calculate the moment they will lose footing. When you know what blinds them, you can place the knife in plain sight. And they will never see it until it is inside them. The explanation is simple, but lethal. People reveal themselves in repetition. Watch them over time. Notice what they chase. Notice what they avoid. Notice what provokes a sudden, irrational reaction. You are not looking for random traits. You are looking for constants. This is not idle observation. It is reconnaissance. Every detail. You collect feeds into your map, a private chart of the terrain. You will one day navigate to their destruction or control. There are 3 tactics for constructing this map. The psychological dossier. For each person in your sphere of influence, maintain a mental or written file. List their emotional triggers, the themes in their complaints, the circumstances under which they make poor decisions. Include their desires, fears, and predictable lies. Over time, this dossier will become a mirror they cannot escape. And you will hold it. Pattern tracing. Do not focus on isolated incidents. Track sequences. If they reacted with anger when embarrassed once, watch for it again. If they accepted a risky deal when offered public praise, remember it. When the same cause produces the same effect, you have found a lever. Trigger. Forecasting. Once you know their weaknesses, project forward. If they are offered this, they will do that. If they are denied this, they will try that. If they feel insulted, they will retaliate. These forecasts allow you not just to anticipate, but to design situations that move them exactly where you want them. This map is more than information. It is controlled in its rawest form. It turns their life into a board you can navigate blindfolded. And the beauty is, they will believe they are making their own choices. They will think they are advancing by instinct, when in truth, they are walking the route you charted for them months ago. The path will be so natural, so inevitable, that they will never question how they arrived where you wanted them to be. Machiavelli advised, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Understanding human weakness gives you that speed. It means you already know the ending before they take the first step. And when you know the ending, you no longer compete. You conduct. Number 3. Develop the silence that sees everything. The one who talks least sees most. Power speaks quietly. Control is patient. And the most dangerous mind in the room is not the one commanding attention. It is the one that watches without needing to be seen. Machiavelli warned that a prince should know more than he reveals, and reveal less than he knows. Silence is not passivity. It is the deliberate act of holding your position while others expose theirs. Every word you give away narrows your range of moves. Every silence you keep expands it. When you speak freely, you surrender clues. Your priorities, your fears, your hidden ambitions. Once spoken, these can be used against you, in the moment or years later. The Machiavellian mind treats words as weapons. They are not for decoration. They are not for comfort. They are for decisive strikes, when the right phrase can shift perception, close an alliance, or deliver a blow without the enemy realizing they have been struck. Here is the strategic truth. Silence does more than protect you. It disorients others. When you do not fill the air, they will. They will project motives onto your quiet. They will speak to convince themselves. They will offer more detail than they intended, because humans are uncomfortable with voids. And they will try to fill yours. This is where the advantage emerges. The more they speak, the more they reveal, not just facts, but patterns, the rhythm of their words, the shift in their tone when they lie, the way they circle back to subjects that haunt them. They give you a complete map of their mind, while believing they are in control of the conversation. 3 cold tactics will make this power yours. The silent ledger. Enter every conversation with one aim: to leave with more information than you gave. Ask short, open-ended questions. What made you decide that? Or, and then what happened? And then stop. Let the weight of silence draw out their next admission. The gaps between words. Do not just hear what they say. Hear what they avoid. Note the pauses, the deflections, the subjects they rush past. These are pressure points, proof of subjects that either pain them, implicate them, or tempt them. Controlled disclosure. When you must speak, reveal only what cannot be used against you. If you need to misdirect, offer truths of no strategic value, small details that seem personal but hold no weight. This satisfies curiosity without feeding the opposition. This method turns every interaction into reconnaissance. While others try to dominate a conversation to prove importance, you dominate it by making it theirs. They will feel clever, heard, even trusted, never realizing that the real transaction is not in the words exchanged, but in the asymmetry of knowledge. You will leave the room knowing who they fear, what they want, and where they are weak. They will leave believing you are harmless, uninformed, or uninterested, and that illusion is priceless. Because when the time comes to act, they will still be speaking, and you will already have decided exactly where to strike. Machiavelli said, "It is not necessary for a prince to have all the good qualities, but it is very necessary to appear to have them." Silence is one of those appearances. It makes you seem patient, restrained, perhaps even wise, but its real purpose is to build the invisible arsenal of knowledge that will decide the game before the first move is made. Method 4. Controlling the pace of the game. If you cannot control the pace, you cannot control the outcome. Silence taught you to see, Tempo teaches you to rule. You think in long chains now, 10 moves ahead. But foresight means nothing if your opponent holds the clock. The rhythm controls the mind. Whoever sets it owns it. Thesis: control of time is the skeleton of power. If they dictate speed, your precision dissolves. If you dictate speed, their judgment degrades. I do not fight for attention. I fight for intervals. When to press, when to pause, when to suffocate the room until the other side breaks themselves trying to breathe. Explanation: pressure warps cognition. Under a shrinking deadline, even capable people skip verification, ignore small alarms, and commit to paths they would reject if allowed to think. They cut corners, cling to first impressions, and defend mistakes because reversal would expose weakness. On the opposite extreme, an extended, uncertain timeline corrodes impulse. The impatient grow reckless. In scarcity, urgency hijacks risk assessment. In surplus, waiting sedates vigilance. Scarcity makes people pay premiums. Surplus time makes them sell ground. So you become the metronome they cannot hear. You stretch when their confidence swells. You compress when their fear peaks. Your timing reframes reality. Delay makes trivial problems look complex. Acceleration makes complex problems look trivial. Neither is true. Both are useful. This is not cruelty. It is architecture. You are building moments that make decisions predictable. When you decide the tempo, you decide the sequence. What becomes urgent? What may rest? What quietly expires off stage while they argue about shadows? The board hasn't changed. The seconds have. And that is enough. Tactics: sand in the gears. When they are certain, slow the machine. Ask for written confirmations. Request revised numbers. Introduce additional stakeholders. Extend agendas, fragment meetings, and reframe final as preliminary. Require just one more scenario test. Confidence leaks into doubt. Doubt drips into caution. Caution freezes momentum. They begin auditing themselves for you. And audits rarely deliver bold choices. The floodgate. When they hesitate, remove oxygen. Present clear options with narrow windows. This price holds until close. This seat disappears by noon. This route only works if we depart tonight. Cut the menu to 2 paths, both acceptable to you. Compress choices into crisp, time-bound channels. Hesitation becomes loss. To avoid it, they move. To justify it, they call it decisive. Clock mirroring. Pace your response to their emotional state, not the calendar. If they speak quickly, you slow. If they slow, you sharpen. Contrary rhythm destabilizes their internal clock. They cannot feel control without a matching beat. And so they unconsciously lean into your timing to restore comfort. Once they follow, you lead. Then you introduce micro-accelerations and micro-delays until their sense of now is yours. Guard your tells. Never appear rushed when accelerating or bored when dragging. Attribute tempo to external inevitabilities. Compliance needs this. The vendor requires that. The calendar dictates this gap. Use calendars, policies, and third parties as masks for your timing. Remember, the timeline is a stage, not a truth. You are the hand behind the curtain, never the clock on the wall. According to Machiavelli, he who commands the moment commands the man. The relevance is direct. Moments are not found. They are constructed. You will not win because you are faster or slower, but because your opponent moves on your schedule. Control the interval, and you control the decision. Control the decision, and the board obeys. Number 5. Build the web of contingencies. The future is a maze. The one who draws the map survives. According to Machiavelli, he who depends on one path has already lost. This is not philosophy. It is survival. The world does not honor the straight line. It honors the one who can turn, pivot, and vanish into shadows before the blade falls. You cannot afford to be a creature of one plan. A single path is a single point of failure. The true strategist builds a web, silent, invisible, and layered so deeply that an enemy striking at one thread finds themselves entangled in another. Ordinary minds look forward and imagine the best case. They pray for stability. Average strategists imagine the worst case, but they still anchor themselves to a single answer. You, however, must be something colder. You must imagine every case. The betrayal that comes early, the opportunity that appears late, the chaos that arrives when no one expects it. A Machiavellian prepares, not because they fear the collapse, but because they engineer it. You create scenarios where even in destruction, something survives. And that something is yours. If a partner turns against you, you gain information. If a deal falls apart, you trigger another alliance. If a door closes, you have already been building a second one in secret. Think of every move as a layered trap. The first layer is what they see. The second is what they suspect. And the third is what only you know exists. When they believe they have cornered you, they are standing exactly where you wanted them to. Tactics. Branch. Every goal. For every objective, design 3 separate paths. One obvious, one concealed, and one that looks like failure but ends in your favor. Engineer exits. Every position you hold must have a silent escape, an untraceable retreat route that leaves you free while your opponent believes you've been defeated. Weaponize sabotage. Expect interference and prepare for it to benefit you. A delayed plan can lure the impatient into revealing themselves. A broken alliance can expose hidden networks. The map you draw is never finished. It evolves as the maze shifts. And while others pray to reach the end, you are already at the next entrance. Unseen. Waiting. The most dangerous mind is the one you underestimate. According to Machiavelli, the ruler who hides his intentions rules twice. Once in action and once in perception. You may see the board 10 moves ahead, but the moment they sense it, the game changes. Suspicion breeds defense, and defense kills opportunity. Foresight is not a weapon to brandish. It is a blade hidden beneath the cloak, only drawn when the strike is certain. When they believe you're watching the horizon, they prepare for the storm. But when they think you're staring at the ground, lost in the dust, they will speak freely. They will move without caution. They will give you the openings you could never force. The human ego thrives on the belief that it is superior. Feed it. Let them think you are less informed, less strategic, less dangerous. Play the role of the one who reacts, not the one who directs. You will watch their guard drop like a fortress, opening its own gates. The mistake of the arrogant is to reveal too much of their structure. They love to let others know they have a plan. You will do the opposite. You will wear the mask of simplicity. Let them see only a fragment of your mind, and let that fragment appear harmless. You might forget minor details. You might ask questions to which you already have the answers. You might even allow a harmless oversight to stand, so they can feel they've gained an advantage over you. Each of these is a thread and they will follow it, unaware that it leads into your snare. The moment they believe you are easy to read, they will stop trying to read you at all. That is when the real work begins. That is when you maneuver in silence. 3 tactics for masking your depth. Understate your awareness. Respond with less than you know. Let them believe they are informing you. Embed harmless flaws. Mistakes that change nothing, but convince them you lack precision. Feign dependence. Ask for advice, then quietly discard it while advancing your own design. By the time they understand the scale of your vision, it will already be complete, and they will have helped you build it. Machiavelli advised, "Men are so simple and so obedient to present necessities that he who deceives will always find those who let themselves be deceived." Number 7. Develop the predator's patience. The impatient hunt for moments. The patient hunt for victories. You want to strike now. You feel the tension, the pulse, the heat of opportunity, as if hesitation will kill it. That is the trap. According to Machiavelli, he who masters his impatience masters his enemies. He understood that the greatest predator is not the one who moves first, but the one who moves last. The world will press you to act. Friends will tell you to take the chance before it's gone. Rivals will provoke you to break formation, but every move you make before it's time bleeds away a piece of your position. Patience is not inaction. It is controlled stillness. The predator who waits is not idle. He is studying the rhythm of his prey, watching for the single instant where their guard slips. Acting too soon wastes the kill. Acting too late hands it to another. A true strategist measures time like a weapon, not minutes, not days, but the slow erosion of certainty in those you watch. You let them believe they are safe. You let them speak too much, promise too much, trust too much. Then, when the structure is hollow and the foundation rotten, you place one hand upon it and it collapses. This is not about patience for its own sake. It is about the mathematics of inevitability. Every enemy, every obstacle, every rival has a breaking point. If you can see it before they do and wait for it, they will have no defense. 3 tactics. Delay execution deliberately. When you see an opening, ask yourself, will this wound them or will it end them? The second answer is worth waiting for. Starve your impulses. Each time you resist the urge to act prematurely, you are training your instincts to obey strategy over emotion. Control perception during silence. Do not explain your stillness. Let others fill the silence with their own assumptions. They will weaken themselves trying to guess your next step. Patience is the ultimate cruelty. The longer you wait, the more the other side believes the danger is gone. Then, when they have stopped guarding their throat, you take it. Machiavelli warned that time conquers more enemies than the sword, and when you wield both, nothing survives you.